with Jamie, Jack, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Janine.
A spot-on impression.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry we're a little bit late. It was my fault, in full disclosure. Jack is still making a Janine on the jury face when she discovered that Jessie had her idol. I have to admit,
but she did that she did that during the...
She did that a lot. It's like...
The money...
You know, like there's templates for certain like Survivor like archetypes. She went with the Eliza jury face template.
Yeah, and that's who I first thought of. I said, they must. I've said this before. I wonder if they pay someone. Okay, we'll give you a little extra money if you're the one that goes. It's like, okay, shut your mouth. Close it. We got it. Close it.
Well, I mean, every girl needs her gift moment, I guess. She's got hers now.
Unfortunately, it's going to be used for something that she just probably not going to want it to be used for.
Consistently.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Yeah, but again, I don't make the rules.
Oh. All right. Speaking of, let's talk about this finale episode of Survivor. It was a doozy. It went places. Yeah. Okay, so the full disclosure, I think we kind of sort of alluded to it last week, but didn't actually say it. When Jack shook Jesse's hand last week and said, "Congratulations on winning $1 million," he flinched in a way.
No, I didn't. I said, "Congratulations on winning Survivor 43."
Yeah.
But his reaction was not okay. It was hard to tell because he can't say anything.
Did it look like could you see sorrow behind his eyes?
When he flinched in a way that kind of tipped me off. Where I was like, "Oh, this isn't like cry. I'm trying to cover it up. This was like, oh, I'm a week away from being reminded of my heartbreak."
Yeah, I said, I know you can't say anything. I did tell him, I said,
you did say that. Anniversary, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I said, you played a great game. And he said, thanks. I go, you played a great game. I mean,
but it was just
probably one of the top games in, I would say, Survivor history. Played that good a game.
I agree.
I 100% agree.
So much so the jury was actually rooting for him in the fire.
They were, exactly. They were like outwardly.
It was gonna be a clean sweep for Jesse. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that.
I agree.
I agree.
And the voting and.
I've never seen a jury. I've never seen a jury so upset to not get the win at Fire that they were.
Literally everybody Jesse started crying, but like everyone on the jury looked like they were like in tears too.
Yeah, guys, I was crying. I have never, ever in all of these seasons, ever once have I shed a single tear over somebody not winning in this game. It's not to say I'm not a crier. I am, but like that one, it got me. I was just my heart broke for him.
I don't cry because I'm a man, but I was even my wife who she didn't watch all season, but she went to the watch that Colleen
the watch party
about it, a watch party. And she was pulling for Jesse because she thought he was just so good at, she only watched one episode.
Yeah.
And in fact, at one point, I go, it won't be Gabler. I go, he's done.
We talked about that last week. Remember, we even asked the chat. We were like, last week. We were like, tell us why it's going to be Gabler because we can't think of it.
Yeah, and so I go.
Somebody was right. I don't remember who it was, but somebody
called it. It was Davey something.
Yeah.
Davey.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Jack. Continue.
But anyway, she after he lost, she goes, "I'm going to bed."
Oh,
yeah.
She goes, "God, I feel so bad for him because he, it had to be hard for him to do these watch parties. He was very personable. And he did say how hard it was for him to be outgoing and to be with people like me. And he's a very likable guy. And I really wanted him to win." Because I honestly, he played the best game of the season, and unfortunately, sometimes it's like anything in life.
It's like Jeff said to Ricard, the best player just rarely wins.
That's what I tweeted. Like
and it's like in sports, you see it all the time where the best team doesn't win. It just happens that way. He was by far, it's not even close, by far the best player in the game. He was, but his mistake might have been. We all said it was a great move. But getting rid of Cody he should have got rid of.
Okay, so I actually I tried to
got rid of Cassidy.
So I tried to not listen to this stuff before, but I actually did listen to the first half of Survivor Know-It-Alls today.
Okay, good. I did not get around to it. I read a lot of exit interviews, but
I never listened to them.
I listened to the first half, and then I listened to Gabler's exit interview. I did not get to this. So I had very limited time today at work.
I read some stuff, though.
Okay. I work for a law firm. They went to court today, so it was kind of busy. But I got to the first half of Know-It-Alls, and then when I realized quickly I wasn't going to get to the second half, I listened. I just skipped ahead to the exit interview.
You're saying the law firm went to court?
Two of the three attorneys went to court today. So it was quiet after they went to court, but they went to court at 2:30, so like it was a very busy morning.
You couldn't surf the net.
So I couldn't surf the net. I really didn't have a lot of time to listen to the exit interviews, but I did. Like I said, I got once I realized that I was only going to get a half hour of Know-It-Alls. I was like, I gotta get to the exit interviews, and I at least got through the Gabler one. I didn't get to any of the other ones, but it did sound like.
I was number one from the start.
No. Actually, it did sound like Cody was actually very well liked and very favored to win because he was flashier than Jesse was, and Jesse was making the moves. It was widely known who was making the moves, but because Cody was the one that was like the mouthpiece, he was the one that was
Jesse had to get rid of him.
So we had to get rid of him. And
I kept how often did I say they had to get rid of Cassidy?
I know, I agree.
I've been saying it for like 3 or 4 weeks. Anyway, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. So I think with the Cassidy vote, I think that I agree that a couple things. One, I think that Jesse absolutely made the right call to show the idol before he played it. Because then you are controlling the vote. I actually explained that while in real time last night. Jay and Zach were both like, why was he doing this now? And I was like, well, now all of a sudden people are like, we can't put our votes on him. It's causing a live tribal. Like he's seen as being the person that's like controlling this.
Either way, Carlo was going home.
Well, Carlo was going home because literally he didn't have the votes, and there's no way he couldn't have gotten the votes on anybody else. However, the alternate plan.
But what he could have done, though, he could have said he could have not shown the idol. They could have put all the votes on him, and he votes Carlo.
Well, and in that place.
Either way, Carlo was going home.
Here's what I agree.
What we thought he was going to do.
Well, okay, I agree with the assessment they had last night because I actually was thinking about this same thing where, like, okay, say that Jesse tried to pull like a Kelly Wentworth, right? Where, all of a sudden he's in control or whatever. Yep. But it would have been if he really wanted to get Cassidy out and not Carla. And if he wanted to get Carla out and, just didn't have the votes for Cassidy, then fine. That was what he played. But recognizing that Cassidy was also a threat to individual immunity in the end, then he should have recruited Carla, who I believe I saw this on Twitter, but I actually did not read it. Maybe you did. Where Carla said in her interview she would have taken Jesse.
But she said, I really think I would have taken Jesse. That was my plan because I really wanted to fight for it at the end. She said, that being said, who knows what I would have actually done in the moment. I could have done something.
No one was taking Jesse to the final 3 if they didn't have to.
No.
But of everybody, Carla would have been the one most likely because Carla was perceived as the biggest threat other than him.
Okay.
But you're playing for $1 million. You take to the final 3 who you think you can beat.
Right. Exactly.
Again, you don't know what's going to happen with the jury because, as we saw last night, it was like...
Yeah.
Right, well, you never know what's going to happen with you. But again, let me just finish. If he had taken Carla aside and been like, hey, Carla, I have this idol. You tell everybody, put their votes on me. And get the votes on me, and then you and I will vote for Cassidy. Can you pinky promise this? And if he could have, trusted her, the two of them could have pulled off an epic blindside. But then again, at the end of the day, he has the 2 moves under his belt, and Carla only has that 1 move, where he could have also been like, well, I went to her and I told her to do this. So, that's also, then Carla also could have taken her own agency and been like, well, Jesse told me to do this, but...
Well, I do want to say, before I go to the point on Jesse there, I just wanted to throw that I found it entirely amusing that Carla, knowing she was on her way out, and knowing that her vote wasn't going to do it, refused to let that man have a 0 vote streak. And
that's kind of badass.
And I thought that was so funny. I just want to say with Jesse, you watched his gameplay through the entire season, and I'm gonna say that man only made 1 real mistake in his game, and it wasn't about Carla, and it wasn't about Cassidy. His only real mistake was not practicing fire for hours on end before he ever set.
Yes. What? I mean, I'm terrible at making fire.
He would have. Everybody knows 2 things. You need to know how to swim, and you need to know how to do fire. Period. You have to. Do not go on this game if you can't do those things.
And he wasn't even close.
No, it wasn't. And he was in the bad seat, because isn't that the side that's
the bad seat? Yes.
Because the contestants have actually actively spoken out that seat has more of a draft, and it's harder to make fire if you're in that.
It doesn't have the wall block. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was so frustrating. I'm like, oh, come on, Jesse. Because usually the person that starts out fast
usually burns out quick.
But Gabler, his secret agent, he was able to start the fire and keep it going, and he had a great plan, and he
kudos to him. He knows how to make fire.
Yeah. Again, I'm not giving my vote to someone that can make fire.
Nope, me either. I'm not going to do it.
That seems to be a big deal. I mean, if that's. We'll get into it later on, but
I think it's just because the person that makes fire usually takes out the biggest threat, and that's. But again, you're in that position to take out that threat because the person that actually won Final Four put you in that position. So, they set you up as a pawn too.
I actually wrote that down. Cassidy chose Gabler to go against Jesse because he knew he could beat Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
And
she set it up and did not get anything for that.
And I'm going to tell you, but she did get something for it, because
second place.
I will die on this hill that what we're not going to get collectively told to us, just like we went through with Erica, just like we went through with Xander, is that this jury was pissed at her for putting Jesse in the position to not be able to win the game. Yeah. Period.
Well,
Gabler won because he took her out of fire. Okay, and we can defend whatever moves that he made in the social game. I'm not removing his ability in the game, but if it had been, if Cassidy had been Gabler in this situation, that would not have been a win. It would not have been a win.
Yeah.
They were mad. I've never seen a jury want somebody to win at fire so badly. They just, I honestly feel that was part of it. They weren't going to let Cassidy have the win because she made it so Jesse couldn't.
Well,
I don't know.
It also hurt that Cassidy was actively rooting for Gabler.
Well, that, and also don't forget.
I've said, Cassidy.
Don't forget Cassidy. So I don't know if it's so much, and this is where the Ponderosa videos, I really do miss them.
Yeah.
I also believe that a big part of it was when they were going around and name your moves, and literally Owen was like, I didn't have any, but I fought to stay alive, and Gabler was like, my move was just basically supporting all of your moves. And Cassidy was like, well, my move was this, and Ryan was like, James was like, JK, that wasn't your move. And she's like, all right, you got me.
I thought it was Ryan.
Was it Ryan? Okay.
Ryan, because James was the only one that voted for her.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Sorry. James was...
Also, James was her closest ally. He knows what move she was actually involved in and what move she wasn't involved in. He had a better eye view of her game than anyone else on the jury. Again, I I'm not in a place where we've talked about this a million times. Your jury management matters. Your social game matters.
I think
he won the game. He won the game.
Well, Gabriel, he won
the game. And before we go further, I want to say hats off to him for giving the check to our veterans who are treated like crap by
our government that sends them to war.
I mean, we treat our veterans like.
We truly do. I used to work in a doctor's office that dealt with the VA all the time, and it was.
Before we get into bashing Gabler, I mean, I'm not going to bash him. I'm
not going to bash him.
Game. But I also think that it could have gone to Owen, but Owen, I think, when he threw his temper tantrum, and I think Cassidy. I mean, not Cassidy. I think Jesse and Carlos probably told the jury, "Look, this guy, he acted like a baby." I mean, he was just. I mean, to me, I've said.
I think he leaned.
You're going to watch this and say, "Okay, I was ridiculous."
I think when
he bent the thing, I said.
I think
that's why it went to Gabler, because I think Gabler was a very likable guy,
and he had a great final tribal. I watched we sent Zach to bed right before final tribal last night. So when he woke up this morning at like 7, the first thing he was like was, "Who won?" And we were like, "Gabler," and he was like, "What the what?" I was like,
my wife said
the rest of the world, buddy.
She goes, "Who won?" I said Gabler. She goes, "The old guy?" I go.
But guess what? He was engaging. He had the jury laughing. He had every single person on that jury believe that he was somehow in an alliance with them at some point.
And he even said that in his exit interview. He was like, I literally actually did have alliances with all these people. I just went to one-on-one and, didn't make a big deal of it. So nobody saw me with somebody else with the majority of the time to be like, oh, like they're like the way Cassidy was seen as Carla's player, which hurt her in the end because she was always seen as Carla's number 2.
I would like to just because I feel like there's a lot of listeners and a lot of people watching this show who have been really bothered by the
Gabler,
the target of the very, very clear divisive target of getting women off of this island this season. It is hard to see the end like this. I'm not saying it's unfair. I don't think anything was unfair about it, but it is difficult to see somebody like Gabler's game, who how many times did we hear and joke about hiding in plain sight, knowing again that if Cassidy had that game and Gabler was in her position, Gabler would still have been the one who won.
Well, see, I agree with you 100%.
I feel like the majority of that jury, they've even said they had their little round table thing, and the message has gotten to Cassidy since then that, listen, we made our mind up before we ever sat down at jury. We already knew he was getting it.
But you know what shocked me is all 3 women that were on the jury. None of them voted for Cassidy.
Exactly. And that's something else I wanted to say too, for those who are pissed about the way it went. If you respect Jesse's game and you respect Carla's game and you think they were some of the best players, they voted for Gabler. They voted for him. This was their move. They voted for him.
I think Jesse was bitter at Cassidy.
Yeah.
She beat him. She's the one that knocked him out because she knew he couldn't do. She actually went and said, "Okay, Gabler, let me see you make fire."
Yeah, she sat and watched. You bet.
And she said, "Okay, I'm taking Gabler." And then she said, and then when she I'm drawing a blank, I wasn't going to say. Go ahead.
Do you think that? Because she got a little bit of heat. I don't think she got like really hard pressed, but like Noelle brought it up. Do you think that it was a good question for the jury, like saying like, well, why didn't you take Jesse's challenge? Like, because that would have cemented you as the person.
No, I agreed with her answer. Her
answer was perfect.
It was the exact same answer that I would have. It'd be like, no, I won. I proved myself. I've been here the exact same amount of days as he had. Yes. Why do Final Four is a two-part challenge. I won the first part. I don't need to win the second part.
Nope.
And back in the old days, she just takes Gabler and Owen with her. There's no fire challenge.
Right.
She makes the right decision.
Right.
And I get why they do it. They're trying to mix it up. but it was a fantastic. She answered correctly, and
Yes.
I'm like, okay, good for her. She got it. But I think Carla and Cassie said in her exit, I was reading, she said, I think Carla poisoned the jury on me.
Yeah,
and
even though Carla I
think Carla, I read Carla, she didn't really deny it.
Right.
But she did. Right. She said, well, I was going after everybody.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
After Owen. I went after this. I went after that. And I like Carla a lot. But I think that she did. I think she was bitter.
You have no respect for a bitter juror. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Jesse was bitter. I like Jesse a lot. Yeah, and I think they said we're not giving it to Carla.
But I
honestly think that with Owen, I think he was such a baby on some of his things. Sure. I mean, I honestly think it hurt him because he could have made it.
It clearly
he could have made a case.
Well, he was always in a temper tantrum, or he was like completely self-defeated, right? Like there was never like an ownership of what he was capable of. He never talked with much confidence. So that hurt him overall. But I mean, honestly, I don't feel like Owen in that trio like even stood a chance, and I think he knew he didn't stand a chance.
But it's funny. When he's talking, he's calm. He's rational, but he even says he has this thing, and I think he really blew it when he was when he was throwing that tantrum. I'm like going, oh my God, Owen, stop.
I don't know, but was the tantrum like very obvious in camp or?
Well, they were looking. No. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't see it.
A little bit. I think. I mean, and he did.
It's a small beach, and you can hear. Yeah. I mean, you can hear people from when you're throwing.
But I'll give it to Owen where he owned it. He owned his responsibility in that temper tantrum. He didn't deny it at all, and that's some place where maybe Cassidy did not do so great is because if anybody's sitting around listening to her being like, oh, the one thing I regret is how we ended things. It felt like pandering. It sounded like pandering. And then she said, I'm not pandering. And it's like, but you are.
Yeah.
And also when she got like called out
I felt awkward, but I was like, that's awkward.
Yeah, it was. So going to the chat real quick, in regards to the final three, Scott says Owen needed to make a case and could have done that, but he totally tanked. I agree kind of with that. Like Owen went with the I'm Charlie Brown thing. Everyone kept kicking the football, but he never actually was like, but here's why you should reward Charlie Brown.
And he should have, because he had some really great things under his belt that he could have used.
Exactly. Like he won 3 immunities. That helped put him there. He also literally did like an anybody but me and managed to like with every single person on your alliance is going and you still make it to the end. Like, you could beef that up for your resume. And then
I got with the right alliance, even when I had messed up in the first half of the game. Coming into post-merge, I was with the right alliance. I won immunity every time I needed to win immunity. I made the right friends to stay protected at Tribal.
And even though
I hung out underwater for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Once Jesse was out, he had a chance to win.
He did. He just didn't articulate it the right way.
Again, I mean, I don't know if they saw the temper tantrum, but I don't know how they could have missed it. It was bad.
He should have done better at least trying to move past.
And when he slammed the thing down and bent it, and he wouldn't even been able to finish the challenge.
His pole,
my pole was bent.
If Cassidy had knocked it down, he couldn't even have finished. And who would have won? Jesse, who had 11 at the time, going very slow.
Slow and steady.
I feel like he was bringing the discs back to the platform at one point. I was like, I feel like he has one left that he did a minute ago.
Yeah.
But, it just, to me, you have to, I mean, if I see someone acting like that, I'm not going, well, it's not getting my vote.
Yeah.
It makes people uncomfortable. And
you won anyway. You won anyway.
Exactly. Okay, so Scott continues. Cassidy's misstep in her answer was about the big move that buried her. We talked about that, where they were like, no. And she was like, just kidding, you got me. Yeah, when the 3 jurors did it, no.
She didn't know.
Which is actually a more of a statement to those players that she actually possibly like fully believed that was her move, or just again a misstep on her part to be like really convincing herself, yeah, actually I did this, and they were like, but you didn't.
But what was Gabler's big move?
Gabler's big move. So he actually
pre-merge, like when he got all the whole thing with Ellie. Mm-hmm.
But he actually mentioned this in the exit interview and said there were a couple of times the things that he wished that they had shown that might have made more sense to him winning. And he liked the story that Survivor told this season, but wished that there were a couple of things. And one was he and Jesse and Cody were what was the alliance called that they kept talking about that we had never...
Dead Man's Tale.
The Ride or Die group?
Ride or Die, yeah. Where the Ride or Die alliance was apparently a bigger deal, and it was just literally never shown on screen. Where so essentially what Gabler's thing was, okay, I just made a big splash, I need to go underwater. And he essentially made himself a tight alliance member with everybody there, where he would go and he would be able to compare stories, where if one group was telling him something different, they were doing it without even realizing that he was actually just a free agent on his own. So he was able to get the story from every single group.
Okay, so what
every
you're saying
week.
Is he was successfully doing what Sammy was attempting to do.
Yes.
But this explains the constant soundbite of hiding in plain sight. That was literally, it's not just this.
But they never showed it. They showed back clips of Cody losing the friggin' idol, excuse me. But they never showed clips of Gabler going back and forth. He used to meet on the beach every morning with Cody for 10 minutes to be like, okay, here's the rundown of today. And they never showed any of that.
Again, that ticks me off with Survivor, and I've been reading a lot of people are upset with that. It's your ratings are going down anyway.
Yes.
Stop messing. I'll say it again. I don't want to watch a whodunit, and at the end, it's some person that was selling ice cream, that we saw once that did the murder.
Well, that's the thing.
If I'm watching the game, I want to see who's making the move. If I'm watching a sporting event, I want to go, oh, that guy that was sitting on the bench, he did a great job doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because they showed nothing that showed Gabler should win the game. No, we didn't see one time.
The Jesse edit, we got the Carla edit, and we got a lot of the villain edit, but we didn't.
Wait, let Jack finish. Hold on. You didn't see one time.
Did we see one time where someone said, "I don't want to go to Final 3 with Gabler"?
No, and Gabler was so.
They said Cassidy over and over again.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Like the two villain edits, didn't even bring him up.
Cassidy, Gabler was so under the radar to Owen and Cassidy that when I rewatched the final tribal and the votes being read, they may have been the more shocked than the people at home. If you rewatch that, their faces when they realized Gabler was going to win, they were more shocked than any of the millions of Americans watching it home.
Cassidy had a panic attack.
It was incredible. They were like, oh my God. However, that also then shows to Gabler's strengths that we didn't see, that he clearly had all these relationships with all these people that he told us that he did, that they were, happily voted for him once they realized they couldn't vote for Jesse, that, it wasn't even it wasn't even close.
No,
so
they weren't going to give it to Cassidy. And they weren't going to give it to Owen. So they just said, okay, you know what? Because where's this checklist that Carla talked about? This checklist that we sat around the table.
Yeah, we were going to, if they crossed out these things on the checklist, they were going to win. It was all
Gabler. Because
apparently Gabler crossed them all out, though, to everybody but what was it? Who's James is the one that voted for her?
What is the only one that voted for
Cassidy. Yeah. Oh, that's right. She went up to him at the end and said, did you vote for me? Okay.
Because, you look at the, what was I going to say? I lost track. Go ahead. I'll come back with it.
Okay, you'll come back with it. So, I said this on Twitter last night, but I truly believe it. It is not the person who wins job to show people why they won Survivor. They went out there and they played their game. It is CBS's job.
He won more. I have no problem with him winning.
His job was to convince the jury, not to convince the viewers.
And it's the job of the editors. And CBS has access to Paramount. They have access to, the best editors in the world. And I truly think that since they came back from the pandemic, 41 on, they have been instructed to, F the edit crowd. Like, let's play with the people that literally make a game out of it. But it's
okay, so
but again, like that's also like screw you because these people.
Well, it's to get people to watch it's to get people to watch to the end, and I get that. But I'm like, again, you showed me. No. You showed me nothing that
they've had a successful 38 seasons where people watched to the end. I think this is a byproduct of staff changing. I think this is a byproduct of befriending famous writers who are currently very successful with their top running television series on HBO. And I think it's just trying to find some like new creative niche in the editing process. But it made for, there are certain points where you go, okay, this was actually really brilliant. Like Gabler's first edit, like the very first edit we had of him on the show was him struggling to make fire for his tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Like he couldn't make fire for his tribe. And then it ends with him making fire for the win and his tribe like honoring him for it, right? So the long haul is great, but nobody is looking for the overall story arc because we want to see all of these things that are being left out because it's solving the puzzle. Like we keep getting the finished puzzle and it's like, but there's pieces missing. We need to know what these pieces are. This isn't like a drama series where we can have things left hanging and use our imagination. Yeah, we don't want to use our imagination.
I want to know. I want to know why he won. It's like with Scott said, Erica. I still don't know how she won because I never saw it.
Right,
I never saw it. It's just like out of the blue.
We saw more of Michelle.
If they think that's cool, they're losing me as a viewer. I'm okay. I'm okay, kind of with the thousands of immunity idols and all the different stuff.
And I
changed the game. But you're pissing me off.
I'm sorry that we keep like talking over each other this episode with stuff, but like I do believe that they came back for 41 and they were like the people that like to predict the winner based on the edit for sport, like let's screw them and let's make it not so obvious. And those are the people that are longtime fans that actually invest their time watching your show. So why are you trying to screw those people over?
These are the same people that are finding new love affairs with Survivor in other countries.
And these are the same, and they're the same people that are actually like applying to be contestants on Survivor.
And I found out in Australia they give condoms out.
Oh, do they really?
That's smart. That's smart thinking.
Well, that's good thinking.
I was searching Survivor today and looking because I wanted to find out some answers. I go, okay.
Good for those Australians and their safe sex. Excellent for them.
We go to have safe sex.
Well, they're like 3 months long, right? So like
it's a whole new spin on the whole. We'll get into the pointy end.
We're down under.
Wait, Jamie, is that a 3-month season?
Yeah, it's a 3-month season.
Okay, so that's like a whole trimester. So I understand why.
I can't say sissies anymore. We're a bunch of losers. I don't know how much longer I can watch this show if it continues this way.
Do you think really a real question? Do you think that if we went back to the same length of days on do you think that we would have the same people at the end of this game?
No.
Because I feel like Gabler was really starting to lose his momentum in the last 48, 72 hours.
I think they all kind of were, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're older, he's the second oldest person to win.
It seemed like it was really affecting him more physically in the same way that last season you were seeing it on Jonathan more than anybody else.
Well, that's because Jonathan was like a big dude that all of a sudden lost like 100
70,000 calories a day to sustain his might.
He like went me.
From 24 eggs a day to 0 eggs a day. Yeah,
his Gaston diet.
Bring me some more chickens. Anyway,
and honestly, I have noticed I think we've all noticed the difference in gameplay between 25 days and 39 days. I don't know. Maybe there's a happy medium. Like maybe Jeff and production don't want to spend the money to be out there, for 70 days a year, 80 days a year, whatever it is. But I don't know, maybe you do then like 32 days or 30 days. But I do think because they were going to tribal every single day towards the end, and it just really did make it to be like, okay, boom, 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 boom. There wasn't a lot of time for
she strategized.
This crazy strategies that come up when you get paranoid.
Yeah, I feel like it misses something at the end because like the last week and a half maybe of the game gets like really loopy, right? Because instead of going to tribal like you were saying, like in this repetitive motion, you would go to tribal, but then you had to sit with your decision for like 2 or 3 days and you had to pay the consequence, the social consequence to your decision. And that would drastically change your game. And now they're not having to suffer that, right? So you just do whatever you do.
Yeah.
I want the longer days. I don't like the short.
I didn't think about that, but you're 100% right. I think the longer days was better. And again, show me what's going on.
Yeah, just show us. Like, there's a way to show us without.
I mean, we saw Gable. I mean, I think I even talked about Gabler would go up and talk to Carla. Jesse's running this game. Yeah, that's all we saw.
Yeah, but clearly,
we didn't see
according,
we didn't see anything else, and it's just like going.
And according to Gabler, and according to how everybody else voted, clearly there was more. Like he said he would go up to every single person every single day and touch base with them. And especially like Cody, and that's how he would find out with the Ride or Die Alliance, like what he and Jesse were thinking. And then, go and be like, what's this alliance thinking? And then he would...
that's great strategy.
It is, and we never got to see that. And they didn't even have to make a big deal of it.
It would change... so this is where these things become really frustrating because the edit that they actually gave Gabler was, what a doofus. Yeah. Right? It was, oh, what a doofus. Okay, but the jury, again, we can say the edit is missed. There's whatever jury thinks, but then there's this other aspect too where we were talking about before, like pay attention to the people that aren't getting any votes. You need to pay attention to the people whose names
are not getting any votes. Yeah,
but exactly. Somebody brought this up in a Twitter thread, and I thought this is a perspective that we actually didn't go to on this, because the flip side of not having somebody's name being written down isn't always that they're the ones running the show. It's that they're of no threat to anybody. Right. Heather's name wasn't getting written down, but she was making it to the end of the game.
She was a goat.
Right. And so I think it was very easy for us to perceive Gabler as just kind of being the guy they were going to drag to the end, right? But then by our own words, the man's name wasn't getting written down at Tribal.
Right. And how many times did we think, oh, he's going to be this season's wild card. He's going to be their Debbie, and he's going to cause chaos. And he didn't. And we never saw that.
To be fair, he did open his game up with howling.
And he did do the palm fronds thing, which the palm fronds thing, that was kind of weird. But that was like on day 2.
Made of thorns and paper cuts?
Right, but that was only for like that one tribe, and a bunch of them were gone by the time
the original tribe wanted to get rid of him.
No, remember he lost the first immunity challenge for them, and he
was
if he didn't have that idol, he probably would have been voted out by his own tribe.
I mean, he almost gave up his game right off the go.
He was like, remember he said, I'm going to let you guys vote for me. And Ellie was like, no. Hold on. Hold up, bro. We're going to vote for Mariah.
I'm just going to say, had Ellie stuck around, this wouldn't have happened. About this girl, he would not have made it.
And something that actually is credit to him, she would have probably ended his game earlier than.
But again, how do that's what people were saying. I saw some were reading them. They said, "Well, he got rid of Ellie." I go, "Ellie was like 20 votes ago. Who cares?"
Yeah,
because I do think that
she was not a factor.
She wasn't a factor, but
she's not even on the jury.
But getting rid of her, she was one of those loudmouth people that would have been a factor. So actually eliminating somebody like that.
He had a part in it, but sometimes it's again, this is to bring up another complaint. This is why I do not like the immediate after show and they haven't even left the island, because I want to hear their perspectives after they have been away from the game for a minute and they've seen all the perspective.
I would like to see both. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think
game wasn't sunk because of Gabler. Ellie's game was sunk because of Ellie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
It wasn't some brilliant move Gabler pulled off.
I was going to say that too, because I want to hear what their thought process was.
Exactly.
And also,
why was that?
And what the after show is just a waste of time now.
Yeah.
I liked when it was in person.
I'm like, going, okay, Gabler talking about that was cool. And then when Ryan talked about his dad and stuff like that, I go, that was emotional. That was cool. After that was like, okay, Jeff didn't ask why they voted for what they voted for. Once I saw that Carla voted for Gabler. I put in our little chat there. I said, Carla's bitter. I said, oh my God, Gabler's going to win.
Yeah,
because I think Carla had the power, because you had Carla and Jesse, who both they were angry they didn't make it to the finals. I get that. They swayed the jury. Said
Carla even said
we're not giving it to Cassidy. We're giving it to Gabler. Owen didn't deserve it because he's a crybaby. So anyway.
But you know something?
I don't know why I get so giggly every time you bring up what a poor sport Owen is.
And I'm a poor sport, but I get it.
I get it too. I would have kicked sand too. I don't know if I would have chopped a whole bunch of things in front of people, but
so frustrated. But you can't do that.
You can't.
You can't do that when you're trying to get votes, because people. I'm sure Carla, because Carla was she's got in there, snuck in, and got that advantage, and he was just.
It was funny with the Charlie Brown analogy. Like literally, she super Lucy'd him. That was hilarious.
And I like Owen, and
I do too.
I think he could, but you could see why he wasn't. Maybe he didn't go. Wasn't one of the people that people were going with him, because he seemed a little erratic. Right? Yeah. He just seemed like, okay, and towards the end it was just like, hey, I just want to stay alive. But he did win 3 immunities.
Yeah.
But
Cassidy.
Owen's biggest mistake, he fits aside. Owen's biggest mistake is that he had an opportunity sitting in the final 3. Yeah, you probably aren't going to get it, but swing for the fences, man. You won pretty much the same amount of stuff as Cassidy, and you were in the same alliance that made it to the end. And I mean, Gabler's first half of his game wasn't amazing, so yours doesn't matter by comparison.
He like you said, he should have been voted out a long time ago, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
But I think the questioning. I think if it's 7-1 vote, there's nothing that they said that swung.
Nope.
They had their minds made up before they went in there. They decided we're going to give it to Gabler.
So do you think that James gave it to Cassidy just because they were friends and it was the sympathy vote? Is that it? Or do
I don't know.
He knew.
I think
I really think she deserves it better. So
I think James was his own person out there.
Yeah, I think James just thought she deserved it. To be honest,
I think it got him voted out because he's his own person out there. Him and Owen didn't get along. Then they're fine now. But I think I'm gonna be honest. Watching the thing, and I've been saying it for a while. If Cassidy makes it to Final 3, you can't take her to Final 3. She's going to win. I don't know. I was completely shocked she didn't win, because she did make moves, and again, she made the move to put Gabler. She talked to Owen, she talked to Gabler. We probably didn't see her watching Owen make fire, but we did see her Gabler probably made fire pretty quick, and they said. He goes, yeah, okay, you can get Jesse out.
But see, okay, this is where I get a little bit confused, because we saw Owen make fire when they did that little clip, right? Owen was straight up, he's I can absolutely beat him. Now, we just talked about how Owen is so self-defeating. If he is that confident, listen to him. She could have put him against Jesse to make fire. Because when she sat with Gabler, he didn't immediately get a fire roaring. He was well, that's, he's I'm pretty tired.
Well, I think a big part of her thing was Owen has 0 resume points and Gabler has some resume points. So if I'm going to send Owen out there, I'm actually, Gabler, I think they all thought Gabler was a lovable idiot. And that's why they were shocked at the end. They both underestimated him. I think her whole thing is, okay, Owen's a super fan. He knows how to talk to the jury. He knows what you're looking for. He has won immunity the same amount as I have. And I think if I, put him with fire, like we're tied in immunity points, and that gives him the edge over me.
Well, that's just it, right? She didn't want him to have that edge of hitting Jesse out, because guess what? At the end of all of it, and this is there's just a little teeny tiny part of me that does get like a little glee out of the fact that she got rid of my favorite player. She burnt out my winner's pick, but the person she used to do it took her money and then gave it away. So I guess
that was a really emotional moment. Like, kudos on him for naming names and
you can't fault him for that. And again, I'm sure he played a game that we didn't see that was better than what we saw, but that's on CBS.
I am sick of it. I am sick of that.
I used to do a Dancing with the Stars podcast. I used to watch it, but then there was a team that won. I'm like going, they weren't even close to the best team. It was just a popularity contest.
Right.
And to me, I get Survivor is there's a social game is a big part of it, and especially now. Sure. I think more now than it was in the beginning.
Yes, because we're not getting the abundance of athletes, right?
I mean, you saw that in the first Survivor, you had Richard Hatch and
Kelly and Rudy.
Kelly, and then Rudy left, but it was just two people, and Kelly lost by 1 vote because Sue was so bitter.
Sue was so mad about her being a rat
and that was real.
Yeah.
Everything past that is everyone wants to be the Sue, but Sue took it as it was personal, because I read that Cody was really pissed at Jesse for what he did, not for what he did, that he fist bumped Owen afterwards. He said, when he got up to shake my hand, he goes, I didn't know what I was going to do. Was I going to push him in the fire? LOL. And he goes, I was pissed about the fist bump.
Yeah.
Because dude, you disrespected me. And then when I was thinking, I go, that was probably he could have got Cody out after that.
Yeah.
Not getting rid of Cassidy, who was I don't know why they didn't vote Carla out, and Carla was just beaten up at that point.
She was. I think they were worried that she's such a good talker. But again, if you're going to the jury, if you're sending Carla to the jury,
you can get her out. You put her in fire. Jesse goes, okay, I'll put her in fire. I think Jesse could have got Cody to take him to the finals. It might have been close, but keeping Cassidy in there, who was the challenge beast at that point.
Yeah.
Owen and Cassidy were the challenge beasts. And
they didn't do. Yeah, he wasn't able to convince anybody else because all they saw was strategic underdog versus strategic mastermind, and that was what everybody was scared of in that moment.
Yeah. But I just was like going, you look back at it, and it's like, okay, maybe you should have kept Cody and got rid of Cassidy there, and it could have changed the whole. Because I thought Cassidy was going to win the game. I was completely shocked.
I did too. I absolutely did too. I thought, you know what? It might not be a clean sweep, but she's going to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, for Owen to get 7 votes of the 8, 7 out of the 8 votes.
For Gabler to get 78. Scott says in the chat, if Jesse had decided to get rid of Cass instead of Carla, that opens the final 4 challenge for Owen, since Carla's injuries would have hampered her. He wins, picks Gabler, and then it's Jesse versus Carla for fire.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually something that possibly, they had thought of. Like, if you have, because I think the fear was either Jesse or Carla in the final 3. They win no matter what, and they would have won no matter what. We've heard people say that, like, they would have won if it was that.
But I think at the end of it, I think at the end of it, he had. I think that as far as the game goes, and like a real opponent, I think he viewed Carla as a real opponent, and he viewed Cassidy as someone that would follow him. And because she was the one, she was more vulnerable in her situation because she was like, oh, well, what is Carla saying about me? And like, oh yeah, Carla has this idol. And do you know what I mean? Like there was this weird dynamic that was like shifting things. That Carla and Cassidy like rift is what completely shifted the end game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I read.
And that was a Jesse mastermind. That was a Jesse mastermind. That Carla Cassidy wrote.
What Carla said, she never denied that she poisoned the jury. She said, I went after everybody.
You know what she told Cassidy? She's like, if you send me there, girl, it's on.
Because Cassidy said she believes that Carla poisoned the jury on her.
Yeah.
I have not listened to, like I said,
we might not like that as not savory, but this is why it's such a big.
But the social game is also
jury management.
Right, jury management is a big part of the social game.
What if you kept the jury apart?
They should sequester the jury.
Right?
That the jury goes, okay, you're over here, you're over here, you're over here. You meet up at the thing.
Yeah, especially now
and then you separate, because it's obvious that these, the people at the end tell, okay, this is what she did.
Right? Like, if they weren't... me. If they aren't going to... me. If they're not going to... If they're not going to... I get when they wanted to film the Ponderosa videos and they wanted the jury together and drinking and doing their songs and having fun and, like, drunk Andrew Savage. Like, super get that. That makes for really fun bonus content. But if you're not going to give that to us anymore... then yeah, sequester them. You're not doing it for our entertainment. Like, now, sure.
Right. And see, like, okay, on one hand, I really would miss having the jury sitting at Tribal, because, as I've said many times, it's one of my very favorite parts of the game.
Oh, they can sit there.
When you're looking at...
Let the record show Jack just made another Janine face. Last thoughts, Jamie, and then we're going to go to tally the vote.
When you're dealing with the jury and their involvement in the game, you go to like Big Brother. When you make it to jury and you're out of the house, you go to the jury house, and then you don't see the game that's playing. The only thing you hear about is when the next people are voted out and come to the jury house. You can hear their story and their version of what happened. But you don't see the game playing out as it's playing out until you get to the end. So when the final two players have to defend their game and walk you through all the moves that they made, you don't go in there with the preconceived idea that you have may not be the one that sticks.
Yeah.
Because you're not watching every vote. You're not watching how every little thing went down. You're hearing people's experiences with it and forming your opinions based off that social game and the jury management. You got to make friends with the people you're sending out the door. You have to. And if you don't make friends with them, it's got to be like a Jesse move where it's like, I have to respect the move you just made because I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
But not have the jury sit there and watch it happen. Like every single tribal.
How badass would a Jesse, Carla, Cassidy final three have been?
It would have been the best.
Well, it would have been really badass.
Obviously, Cassidy wouldn't have got a vote.
No, but Carla and Jesse would have split them, I think. I think it would have been close.
I feel like it would have been so exciting to go to the end with some of the biggest badasses in the game and actually get to see them fight it out and not have somebody there's no way.
But it doesn't happen because I think it just doesn't happen anymore. Even with they try to do it with the fire challenge, and it still doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. All right, moving into some tally the vote. Good. Oh, actually, we've got an email. The email is from Mandy. She says, Mandy, I'm still in disbelief that happened last. I'm sorry. Let me start again. Hi, I'm still in disbelief that happened last night. Could Jesse have won if he didn't get rid of Cody at Final 6? I hate the Final 4 fire making, even more since it seems the jury was not impressed that Cassie didn't go into fire making. She already won immunity. That's in all caps locks.
I don't get that.
Right? Like, come on, guys. She got the big win. Like, it shouldn't be two wins.
I know Gott was happy with the finale.
Yes, he was.
Me.
God just has weird tastes on things. Mandy continues, it's been a great season listening to the podcast, and it looks like 44 is going to be good. 44 looks kind of terrifying.
I know, there is some cuckoo.
I want to see what happens to that guy that falls off the rock.
I know. Zach was
that's Cody's rock.
Yeah, well, when the guy falls, he's like doing the voiceover, and then he falls, and Zach just goes, "Oh, is the gay dad going to be okay?" It's like, yeah, he's going to be fine, Zach. I was like, don't worry. They wouldn't show us a promo where somebody actually dies, but it didn't help that I literally was like, he's going to be fine, and then like a second later, it's like, stop, somebody's dying on the beach, and he was like, is that the guy?
The shark that comes by and eats the guy. All right, we'll have no tribal council tonight.
And wasn't there, like, do we have an Aussie in this season? Because I'm pretty sure the guy was like, if this doesn't bond us, I don't know what will. I'm like, that sounds pretty Australian. That's exciting.
I don't
What's
know.
Gonna happen? These people are just
and
like
I found the whole cast. The whole cast has been
rock rubbing. There was rock rubbing.
Scott says Gott and Gabler were January 6th bus buddies.
Where were you?
Scott, honestly, I had been trying to work that out in my mind, and I couldn't land one way or the other.
He found the sweet spot and nailed them both.
Yeah, but I did just find a chapstick sitting here, which is great because my lips are kind of dry, so that's exciting.
That's a bonus.
Super bonus. Very excited. And then we got one more bit of feedback from Kayla, who says...
Okay, just move on.
Kayla actually got to give some feedback because we recorded the day after airing.
Yes. Actually, real quick, Miami Mike in the chat said, falling off something and dying equals Mike White must have written the season. I haven't seen White Lotus season 2 yet.
I haven't seen season 1 yet. Thanks, Mike, for spoiling.
That's not the plot of season 1.
Because I promised Colleen that we would not skip this.
Oh, yeah.
Said, the falling part made me remember that we need to...
First outs versus fallen angels.
We need to petition CBS. We need the Fallen Angels versus First Outs. It's got to happen.
Yeah, so one might argue that the Fallen Angel seasons was second chances. However, I think
First Out is what they should do.
First Outs, but if you can't get enough, because remember we were talking about this a few weeks ago, if you can't get enough people that were First Outs to come back and play, First Outs versus the Fallen Angels... Mm-hmm. And that doesn't even limit you to like second chance players. That's just anybody that's ever had that Fallen Angel edit. Like Kelly Wentworth could come back because she got the Fallen Angel edit in her second season.
Also, guys, it sounds really cool. Like it's a cool title.
Yeah, you're like, sorry, what did you say, Jack?
Haven't we seen enough of Kelly Wentworth? I mean, I like her, but she's just.
That's true. We have seen her in 3 seasons. I'm just saying, for example,
it's like bringing Ozzy back. Okay, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, I'm good with Ozzy not coming back. I'm good with not seeing any more of Malcolm, unless you want to see 20 years from now, Survivor, geriatrics, formerly hot people.
You can't tell me Francesca doesn't come back to this show.
I think she's probably over it.
We're already starting the Offspring generation.
She wins it.
Oh. Miami Mike says talking about somebody dying on White Lotus is as spoilery as saying the Padres will mess up in the playoffs. That's true. Every season of White Lotus is.
They did mess up in the playoffs.
Whodunit?
A murder mystery.
How did the die happen?
How did the die happen? Okay, so Kayla's feedback.
How did those Marlins do?
Ooh, they didn't win.
They pulled a Cassidy.
But you know something? We didn't go into recession, so thank you, Phillies, for losing, taking one for the team.
I don't know. I'm watching my 401k going, okay, what are we in?
All I know is I got gas for $2.64 at Costco today. Costco gas is 80 cents cheaper at Costco than the Sheetz that's literally...
I would
less than a half mile from my house.
I was in Wendell, and paid $1 more in Wendell for a gallon than I paid at Costco.
No.
It was $1.05 more a gallon. I went, wait a minute. So I just put enough to get
That's what we call doing a splash. Like if you're somewhere and you're like, I can go to Costco tomorrow. You put $5 in. You're like, however far this $5 is going to take me.
I said, because today I go, what's the? And she looked it up online. It was $1.05 cheaper.
Wow.
So we're talking Wendell. Wendell? I know I always say it wrong, but it's like it used to be like you wouldn't go to Wendell, but now
Wendell is it's the suburbs, but it's like used to be the suburbs that was undeveloped, and now it's the suburbs where they've got like a Target and a Publix all of a sudden, so like they can charge for gas.
They got a Starbucks.
They have a Starbucks now? I guess I'll see it when we're there on Saturday.
That place, unfortunately, it's booming, but they haven't the infrastructure. They haven't.
Yeah, so it's a small town where everybody's moving to.
It takes forever to get there now.
But there's still one lane. That's the issue. Yeah. Is there's not a lot of like the highway to get there is a big highway, but once you get off the highway, the parkway to get to where Jay's daughters both live. They live like daughters? What? Your daughters. Oh, your daughters, Jack's daughters. Okay. Both live 10, 12 minutes off the highway, the parkway, and that's where the traffic is.
There's one light on this thing. There's one light, and it's a 4-way stop. And if you're making a left turn, you probably can't make the left turn. If you're behind that car making the left turn, you can't go forward. I go, this is so fucking.
They need to fix it, but there's so much.
That is the equivalent of the entire northeast section of Arkansas.
And that's what this is going to be, because they didn't leave room to expand. Like in Raleigh and in Morrisville is another example. Morrisville is a town that's like on the direct other side of Raleigh. It's where the airport is. They've actually expanded roads that were left for parkways and made them 3 lanes since like more businesses and houses have gone there. They did not leave room for that infrastructure to be built in Wendell. So I don't know what they're going to do there, but yeah, Jack is right.
It's that, and they just keep building houses and condos.
But
and
is this the place with the cheaper gas?
No. Cheaper gas is Costco. That's in the middle of town.
Okay. Yeah, don't go there then. There's no reason. This sounds like a horrible place to go. Don't do it.
Well, I had to go there because my daughters are out there, and I
go,
hey, we're low on gas. That's where someone threw a rock at our windshield.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't know that was in Wendell.
Yeah, we were coming off the freeway, and all of a sudden I see something coming from the side. I go, the hell is that? Boom! Luckily, it didn't go through the side windows where the 2 grandkids were sitting.
That was somebody who was really mad that they lived there and they didn't want to live there anymore.
No, people are actively seeking there because the house is. Because you don't pay City of Raleigh. No, you do pay City of Raleigh tax. I don't know. Well, I don't know why.
It used to be fairly cheap to move.
It used to be, but it's not anymore.
It's like the fastest. It's like one of the fastest growing.
Right.
If you're buying a house out there, but again, there is nowhere because they haven't thought. Okay, what are we gonna do? I mean, more people move there. The traffic's only gonna get worse. I'm like going. Yep. This is so. It's like Los Angeles. Los Angeles built their businesses right off the free. There is literally no room to put any.
Well, and the issue if
101, it's like boom.
And if Heather and Kayla lived in Wendell Falls, it's what, a 0.3 of a mile off the exit. It would have been fine, but they live like a good 10, 12 minutes off of when you get off the exit. So like you've got to go through different neighborhoods to get to their house. Anyway, okay. Kayla's email. Kayla says,
"Welcome to Ramble Gas."
Ramble Gas. My thoughts. I don't know what this new fire challenge is, but it's stupid because Jesse should have been in the final 3. The fire challenge final 4. Kayla's a newer. She missed I don't know, like 20 or 30 seasons in the middle of Survivor. Essentially, they started this so this dude named Ben, who was a veteran, could win because throwing idols. He could win. They literally put idols under his pillow, and he played them, and then he got to the point where he couldn't play them anymore, and they were like, "Let's create a Final 4 fire challenge." So anyway, that's that.
Which was stupid.
It was stupid.
It needs to go away. The end.
It was exciting for the first 2 times, but now you're
I'll be honest though. When Cassidy put Jesse out there against either Owen or Gable, I go, okay, you've made a great move.
Well, yeah, because we all knew Jesse was terrible at fire.
Yeah, I mean, you made a great move, and it didn't. At this point, what's the point of fire making challenge? It was the first time that someone made a great move on the fire making challenge, and it didn't pay off. So let's get rid of it. Think of something else.
Get rid of it.
Okay. I'm sad that Owen didn't get any votes. He deserves some. I feel like Gabler still just skated by. I think the other two deserve to win more than he did. It was cool that what Gabler did with donating the money, but I wish that he would have given part of the money to Jesse too. It seemed like he could have really used it. I do miss the actual surviving part of being shown more like it used to. Oh, girl, we've seen like monsoons come through and typhoons and all the soons, and
they had to leave their.
I think they've had to be evacuated a couple of times. In recent history, but I think that after we saw Fishback, I think after we saw Fishback have like diarrhea in the middle of a freaking monsoon, the cast was like, perhaps we should just skip over this part.
plus he was crying the whole time he had diarrhea.
Well, we all would have been crying.
Sometimes it makes you cry.
Gayla continues.
Because eventually it does burn, right?
In regards... Yes, it does. In regards to the preview for season 44, LOL at the lady who wants to touch everything. She's going to be entertaining. I think she's going to be our first vote out. So if you watch the next... Oh my God. She was like, I just touched this sandy rock. Oh my goodness.
And she was also yell talking.
And LOL at the poop in the ocean dude. So the whole the preview for 44 ends with this guy that's like,
I didn't see that. I think I got pissed and just
you should watch the it's probably on YouTube, just the preview for the next week. It's pretty fun because it ends with this dude that's there like, I can't wait to starve and lose weight and go poop in the ocean. And it just ends with that.
Not have to shower.
And I was just like, you're my kind of people.
That guy.
But anyway, all right, let's tally the votes here. I've had this pulled up so you all can see. So Gabler, we all had him pre-merge. So nobody gets points for Gabler. Owen, I had him final 3. So that is a point from me.
Nice move.
Thanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe this means...
I'm getting an echo.
Oop. Yeah. That's because I'm saying it twice. I've got a point over you.
No. I can hear myself saying it twice.
You and both of you had Jesse final 3. I had him merge. So, that's another point for me. Who cares?
I lost this game the first time I said, Gabler's next to go.
And Cassidy, let's see. For Cassidy, Jack gets a point. He had her merge. Jamie and I had her pre-merge. So there we go with that. So now...
I believe you, Cassidy. If I was there, I would have voted for you.
That's true. He would have.
And I think... Did I get everybody? Cassidy, Jesse. Where's Carla? Oh, Carla. I didn't get Carla. Jack had her pre-merge. Jamie and I both had her merge. So Jamie gets a point.
I'll be shocked. She shocked me. She shocked me.
She was wonderful.
Awesome.
I am truly bitter that she didn't go further than 5, but I understand.
Like I said, I hope she didn't poison the jury, but I believe she did.
Well, that stuff always comes out.
You're from San Diego, Carla. You don't do that.
Don't forget.
You're not from Los Angeles.
You know what? Actually, we need to stop and take a quick break for commercial. Because actually, Spreaker just over the last 2 or 3 weeks updated the commercial limit. So we would be able to get away with not having one at this point, but we need to. So we're going to stop, take a break, and then we're going to get to the final tally of the votes. Here we go.
Can't wait.
All right. Moving into the finals, we have Jamie at, 8, Jack at 10, and me at 12. However, and I'm going to pull up a calculator here to have accuracy in my math. You won't see the calculator because it's not screen shared.
So it's like Survivor. It's like Survivor editing.
Oh, yeah, Survivor edit. She's giving us the Survivor edit.
I am giving you the Survivor edit. So, just for this, Jamie has 23 points for the 8 she has, and then Jesse with the 15, and then we'll go into the final. So, you had Carla going at it 5, so that gives you 24 points. You had Owen at 4, you don't get any for that. Gabler at 3, you don't get any for that. Cassidy at 2nd place, so you will get 4 points, so that puts you at 28 points. And then Jesse winning, which he didn't win. So Jamie, your total is, and I'm just going to type in 28, screw the Roman numerals. So Jamie finishes with 28 points. Jack, you have 10 points.
I was completely wrong.
Carla did not win, you don't get any points for Carla.
Thanks, Carla.
Cassidy, you had Cassidy at 5, which really, I agree, she should have been at 5. Okay, none of these. You got no points for any of these, so you finished the game with 10.
If they would have listened to me,
they would have listened
Jesse
to you.
Wins.
Super wins.
Jesse wins.
And then as far as I go, I have 12 points, so let me start with, hold on, let me clear the calculator. Okay. 12 points. 10. I don't get any points for my winner's pick, but that's why I always...
led most of the way.
As I was asked last week, that's why I always, every single year, the exception of the years that Tony is playing, that I always pick a different final 5 than my winner's pick. So I get 1 point for Carla, so that puts me at 13. I had Jesse going at 4, so that puts me at 15. Gabler 3, Owen 2. I didn't get any points for them. So I have 15. So Jamie, you win with 28 points.
What?
I get 2nd place with... Oh, wait, you had Jesse as your winner. Oh, my God, I'm an idiot. Sorry. You had Jesse. None of us guessed Gabler. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. So 28 minus 15. Just kidding. I am sorry. 28 minus...
I had to live for a minute. It was fine. I got
15.
to have Cassandra, I'm going to win this game.
Okay.
Or Cassidy.
Okay, so I win.
Good job. I felt, you know what? For a brief moment, I know what it felt like.
You just Gablered
really
it.
Happy for you.
I just Gablered it. No, I Cassidy'd it. I just totally overestimated Jamie. Okay. Well, cool. I won.
If we learned anything from this group of rascals,
math not great,
because Gabler is going to donate his entire win. Cassidy's the real financial winner of this season of Survivor.
That's very true. She wins what do you win, 100,000 for 2nd place?
100,000 or something. Yeah.
Better than Amazing Race.
Okay, so the chat is now saying Scott is saying Jamie is the La La Land of this podcast, and Miami Mike says at the exact same time, and the winner this year is La La Land.
Entirely appropriate. That's the call.
I think that you guys need to declare jinx, and you can't comment in the chat till we say your name 3 times.
Sounds like somebody owes somebody else a Coke.
Scott, Mike.
I got Pepsi.
Oh my God. All right, everybody. Good job. See to the people in the chat last week that were like, why aren't you picking your winner's pick? That's why you do it. That's the strategy.
Right. Tried and true every time.
Every single time.
I think it was David something. I can't remember your full name. You were right.
Yeah.
And I think we did. I think we did say, well, if we're not seeing something in the editing, yes.
Yes, they kept saying that it was going to be Gabler, or Gabler had a chance.
Well, he said you can't count anyone out, and I said if we're not seeing something in the editing, which we didn't see. So
yeah, I think the reaction we had was pshaw, sir. But the pshaw is on us. That's how it is.
Yes, but we were very much like, tell us. But you know what? He didn't have to. We saw it with our eyes.
We were talking about.
Yes. All right, everybody. On that note, thank you for listening. Thank you so much for another season. We will see you in the spring. We're going to enjoy our, 8 weeks off?
I'm good for one more. I'm giving the editing one more.
That sounds like a solid plan.
All I want is everyone to just be borderline lunatics. I will take it. Whatever. Make it entertaining.
Yeah, I'm good with
Please and
entertaining.
thank you.
Have someone where they don't get along.
Yeah, bring back fights. Let's bring back arguments.
Bring back
Please,
Debbie.
I just want a season of Reem, Cass, and Debbie. Can you imagine the three of them?
That's it. That's all we need. This is Debbie's season.
Or Johnny Fairplay.
Who we did see in person last week. That luscious hair.
I was on Survivor thing. Every picture he takes with someone, it's like this.
I know, it's like, man, you are 50 years old. Maybe you can just pose normally.
Yeah.
You need a new facial expression. It's time to change it up.
Yeah, you are not a 20-year-old YouTuber anymore. Scott has said several times in the chat, bring back the Survivor auction. I actually missed the Survivor auction.
100%. It's fun to watch. It creates like chaos. There's always chaos. There's always scrambling because of it, and it's always fun that everybody.
Well, I think they got rid of it
because there's a clue. It's great.
I think they got rid of it because everybody was waiting for the clue.
Yeah. The last time we had
got rid of it because of COVID.
No, the last time we had it, it was Heroes,
it was before.
Hustlers. Right? The season that Mike won?
Yep.
Was it Heroes versus Hustlers versus something? But yeah, I think it was because everybody was trying to like game the system, and that's why they were like, let's take a chill pill on this. But Miami Mike says,
what did they exchange it with?
I think Rob Sessanito told us, he goes, that Jeff stopped it and yelled at them for not bidding.
Yeah,
I believe he said that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The same man that signed off on fire tokens like the following season. No, not him. Not Mr. Dimples.
Fire tokens. God, I forgot about that.
Woo, that's
all right.
That's fun stuff.
Maui Mike says, "Give me all the villains." Yeah, I'm ready for a season of villains. Let's do it.
Same.
Let's do it.
Bring back Russell Hantz.
Not that villain. Give us some other villains.
Only.
All right. On that note, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for interacting with us for another really fun season. We'll be back next season, possibly for our last season, depending on what how Jack feels about it. But we're looking forward to it.
I quit Dancing with the Stars.
He did. Zach and I will be back with a bonus show sometime over the next few days. We have a bit of a busy weekend. We've got a lot of stupid family things coming up, so we won't even be home.
It's that crazy holiday time of year where your family gets all the attention.
Yeah, we get to skate outdoors where it's 30 degrees.
We get to skate outdoors in 30 degrees. You know something? It's kind of funny. Like, I'm sorry. Jay, I, and Cindy are the only three people that want to do the ice skating. And, if you guys didn't want to do it, we didn't have to do it.
I said let's do it after the first of the year.
Okay.
But everyone said, F you, we're doing it now.
But there's only three of us that want to do it. Not even my kids want to do it. We were like, shut up, you're doing it because mommy and daddy want to.
The ice is terrible.
The ice is terrible.
It's going to be cold.
And it was expensive, but I don't understand, honestly.
I'm sorry, I'm an ice snob because I used to make really good ice.
You used to make ice, but that's fine. But again,
this ice sucks.
I don't understand why we're doing it when only 3 out of the 12 of us want to do it. Again, I'm not complaining because I was in the very small 20% of people that wanted to do it. But I would have been okay with not doing it if everybody else really didn't want to do it that badly.
Wait, hold on a second. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Colleen, is your shirt like a green screen shirt? Because I see blue dots on it. It's
oh, no. It's a sweater that's Christmas themed. It's
it's got a reflective.
Yeah. It's like a work blazer thingy.
Balls on the green screen and
it's not green. It's actually blue. It's blue.
I know it's blue, but I'm just saying it was.
Colleen,
I wore this to work today.
Look at my doodles.
That growing up in Minnesota, I was in Pee Wee figure skating. And I haven't been figure skating.
Pee Wee figure skating? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I haven't been able to go ice skating since I moved to the South. So if I ever do make it out to Raleigh, we're going to go to a rink and I will go ice skating with you and boo all the naysayers.
That's fine. I mean, Jack's right. I mean, it's cold and the ice is terrible, but again,
horrible ice.
They take no pride in the ice. That's the thing. It just
because they don't care. It's a public park. The city runs it. They don't care. You're literally going to Eventbrite and you're purchasing these overpriced tickets for this little rink to skate for an hour,
like
and that's all they care about.
Like a holiday thing.
I haven't sharpened my skates in like 6 years.
Just get the rentals; they're included in the price of the overpriced ticket.
I'm not getting the rentals. I will.
You're not going to.
I'm getting the rental.
Someone else's foot boot.
I'm getting the rental. I don't care.
People used to go. Hey, do you spray those shoes? I go. We do it afterwards at the end of the night. We spray all.
But not in
skates.
between.
Well, I was lying because the stuff we use is so. It can be dead, so we spray it, we get a mask on, we spray all the skate. They go, oh, that makes sense. No, we didn't do that.
We
don't just shut them up.
It was like cancer or clean skates. I pick zero. None of the above.
We just throw the skates back in there. Whoever had fungus before that, you're gonna probably get it because that's
just wear your socks.
Nobody sprays the skates. Nobody. Anyway.
Well, I'm wearing the rental skates because I don't have my own skates. Again, I'm one of 3 people that are doing this weekend that want to be doing it.
Years ago, someone was just yelling at me. I got some spray. It was WD-40, and I sprayed it.
No.
You need to put it. I go. Let me see if I can find some spray. I go. There you go. Thank you. I go. You're welcome.
Okay. On that note.
Put some bread bags over your feet, girl. You don't want any of that fungus.
I'm going to be fine. I was fine last year. All right. On that note.
Listen, I am sorry. I am sorry to interrupt you one more time, but you have had a horrible year with foot luck. Don't risk it. Put bread bags over your feet.
That's a good point. And it's a good point.
Bread bags?
Yeah.
What, do you like Wonder Bread bags?
Yeah.
Is that what you did in Pee-wee figure skating?
Dude. I went ice skating when it was like 15 below. You bet your booty we put bread bags over our feet.
I feel like the bread bags you're talking about is getting lost in translation to the bread bags that Jack and I are thinking of.
No, like Wonder Bread. Yeah, like loaved bread bags, like when you're done with them and then you have the bag. Because they slide over your foot, see, and right up your leg. And then you put your foot into the ice skate.
Okay, yeah.
It stays warm.
This is a conversation for when we finish, so let me finish.
Somebody out there can vouch.
I'm going to bed because I can't believe people put Wonder Bread bags with their feet to go skating.
Somebody in the north is going out for this.
Okay, so thank you for listening. Thank you to the patrons, especially the ones that contribute a certain level, and then be Eckhart, Rick, Tack from Tokyo, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Creepy Poophead Mailman. Thank you guys so much. Again, thanks for listening this season. Can't wait to talk about this next season.
And Wonder Bread.
And thank you to Wonder Bread, who is not sponsoring this podcast, but you can throw a check at us if you want. All right. On that note, my name is Colleen.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Jack.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.